Hey, hello. Welcome. Good morning. We were here till midnight last night, 11:30, I think. What's good? It's Big Skrells. I'm in the building. Looking at the stock Omer list today, they announced good revenue, and so I think it's going to keep going up. Yar Yartemlia, their new drug, 32 million in revenue. Kind of amazing. That's already 100 million plus run rate. So if they keep going, get to 200-300 in revs, that's a pretty big potential market cap. They got a couple of other drugs. I don't know if those are any good. But yeah, 32 in reps, so it's not small. Couple minutes to open here. One of the big pieces of news is Cerebras. Good morning and God bless. What's up, Wagwan? Buongiorno. Cerebras had a little bit of a rough quarter. Other than that, market's trying to figure out where to go. Coherent, 4%. Tapestry down 17%. Pretty big market cap there. Mentioned Cerebras, StubHub's also down. Intuitive Machines, I used to short that thing. Cisco down 7%. That's going to cast a pall over the market. Open Door also down 7 or 8%. I kind of like Open Door just because of Kaz. He's a good CEO. Morning. ABS had a big short squeeze yesterday. It's down 3% right now. Be very interesting to see how that plays out. Market opens in 2.5 minutes. Of course, the market's always open. You already sold SanDisk for loss? Locked it in? You're out? Oh, no, you're long again. I know, short. He starts buying. It's crazy.
Well,
I didn't say anything.
so it's gonna do.
I didn't say nothing. Liquidity up 150%. Do I know it? Yeah, I know it. I'm short SanDisk. Good luck, Keith. What's up, Widmer? Yeah, man. How are you? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Maybe I have to report mission here.
Market's looking pretty strong.
What should the codex number so you could ask him what he thinks?
What?
That little codex number,
Oh.
ask him what he thinks.
Kodak? Yeah. He's got ideas on CPI.
So if he had $1 billion, he'd buy a bunch of mosquitoes.
What the fuck? Why?
Those things we know.
True. Kodak a genius though. For real, for real. I'm a raspberry in Houston, bro. I'm gonna reprogram it, Nick. It wasn't working.
Nvidia. Some crazy candle.
Q's up. Spy is up. Everything's up. Let's just go down 9% though.
That's good. No,
Let's go with that.
that's crazy.
It wasn't even bad. It's like a little shower,
Yeah,
you know, because I don't really shower, so
that's awesome.
it's really needed. It's now I got a little coffee aroma too.
That's
A
cool.
little cologne. But
Wow, so
Don't tunnel vision. I trade all these things.
oh, Intel shares extended gains to 4%. Intel shares briefly surpassed but controllers.
Cerebra's now down only 10%. Cisco also has rallied to only down now 7%. Data center stocks are up. Iron, CoreWeave, SpaceX down. UBS up 4% after a killer squeeze yesterday.
Also, Dell's Ultimate Miners.
Dell? Dell, big customer of Intel.
515.
I mean, I
You want it?
yeah, just hold it. You know, like waiting. Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, what the question is, how much money are you going to make on it if you wait a little bit? Right? Does it matter if you close it tomorrow? Next day? Look at another stock. Look at Taiwan Semi. You're obsessed with one stock for what reason? Is it special? This stock.
Mm.
Next week it could be 1200. Then you cover it.
So you could also be 1500.
Read the 10K. At least you know what the hell is going on. It's just supposed to play NASDAQ Nintendo. Right? It's a video game, basically. Is that really gonna tell you the direction of the stock? I mean, it helps, but knowing what the story is with Flash and all that will help even more. Try not to worry about it. You're up a lot, so you know what's the worst that could happen? As opposed to 1500, who cares? You know, you have to get a fundamental viewpoint here. You know, otherwise you're just trading the flows just, not nothing wrong with that. It's just not, nobody's ever going to be impressed with that. You can't start a business around that. It's nice to make money trading. It's just not the be all end all. We just reread one paragraph of that 10K. Right?
Will you see me as senior if I leave early today because
Yeah.
Keith
Yeah.
wants me to go to
No, go.
this territory and our other founders there for the first time.
Go, brother. Go.
Okay, just wanted to let you know I'm not,
Give him my regards.
I'm not seeing those. Keith,
That's fine.
the other founders first. It's annoying that my favorite trading hours are like 3 p.m.
So you need the remote login. SpaceX down about 3%. UBS up 2.5% after a crazy day yesterday. How's Keith doing over here? Let's see. He is short Intel. Up small on that. No position NVIDIA. And short SanDisk now. Yeah, try to trade a lot of TSM, and then you can read the SanDisk thing if you want to.
I'll listen to CPUs.
Okay, try to listen to that. Anything to not read.
I don't process reading.
You're gonna have to fucking learn how.
That doesn't make sense.
It's a life skill, bro. It's fundamental. Yeah, what do you practice? Sit in a room and practice.
Read on SanDisk.
I see it. Got my own trade story about. We might do a call with the CoreWeave co-founder.
Sorry.
We might do a conference call with the CoreWeave co-founder, president.
What?
He reached out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I don't know the CEO founder, but I think these guys are like partners basically. I know another senior guy there too as well. I have a lot, I think, credibility with those guys.
How come?
On the man.
Okay. Like it's like, I mean, this is because of business.
No, just
Because
I think I try to just take a serious approach to this shit. Like I'm very honest. You know, I think the normal shorts are just like there's like foaming at the mouth. They're just like everything's bad. It's a shit show. It's a fraud. It's a zero. Like, I'm like, bro, like Santa's a good company. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little overvalued, right? That's just no personal. It's nothing, you know, they're not bad people that work there. They're brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
When I short a stock, I mean, sometimes they're criminals, very rarely. Sometimes they're scumbags. Sometimes they're deceitful. Sometimes they're just not that great. Sometimes they're okay. Sometimes they're good but not great. You know, it's every company's a little different. And in the case of CoreWeave, they actually have a fantastic product and great people. I think the issue is they're just this debt that they're accumulating is just it's a little reckless to me. Some guy yesterday was trying to teach me how debt worked. Rittenhouse Capital. I thought it was funny.
Are you grateful?
I was very grateful for his lessons. I was like, man, if you've ever let me know when you've sold bonds. I've sold a lot of bonds and aka borrowed money. It's not he goes, did you know that debt is cheaper than equity? It's like, no. I've started 8 companies, fucking raised $1 billion. I don't know that debt is cheaper than equity. That never fucking crossed my mind to think about cost of capital.
So kind of.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the lessons. You know, it's better to learn them late than never learn them at all. Keith's dead yet? What the fuck? Keith's thriving. Keith's thriving. what's the hate?
Yeah.
I closed the messages off. Did you pick up Keith from the casino? He's a natural.
It's too early. It's don't.
Let's just say it's kind of unfair being old and having to take a view on the market based on your understanding of AI from your interactions with the chatbot 3 years ago. I don't understand who has to take that view. Oh, like Burry? Yeah, Burry doesn't really understand. I don't think he understands tech. Keith, what's your next big move? Are we letting Keith trade after hours? Yes. What college did Keith attend? I told you a million times,
I
man.
clicked something.
Stop asking about Keith. He's GOAT. Keith G. He's Keith Jenny. He's that guy. Okay? That's all you need to know. You can go to college. Who the fuck goes to college? It's 2026. Keith, what is the size? Please tell us, it's important for markets. What is the size of what? NVIDIA is Enron, Burry. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, look, NVIDIA's doing some interesting things on the financing side. That doesn't make them Enron. Is Michael Burry fucked for Nebius? I don't know. Let's look at Nebius. Fuck it. Is he blowing you? He seems retarded. Listen, here's the thing about younger guys, okay? First of all, I love young men. Second of all, pause, time out. No, I'm kidding. I like to nurture,
Pause.
I like to groom.
Alright.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do this for the camera. All right, camera's rolling? Okay, good. You got me? Frame? All right. I like to work with younger guys who are hungry and thirsty. Is that, no?
It's making it seem worse.
All right, all right. I I'm just trying to guide and mentor people earlier in their career who want to be. Hey yo, hey yo. It's a funny Instagram of the guy. Similar sort of thing. Yeah. So in any event, yeah, I think younger people, like, one of the great advantages of them is they don't have any bad habits to unlearn. You know, they just kind of come in fresh, naked.
It's great.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Without, any baggage or clothing or any things that are getting in the way. I sculpt them. Been sculpting him. Impressionable. Hey yo! Let me find you he calls himself the Puerto Rican Jew or something. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. Check this out.
Jack, bro, you not hard like that. See, this my son. Get my son. Cause he with the shit. You gonna pull it on you. So if I'm not jacking you, then daddy not jacking you, bro. You wild
When did
fool.
people start talking like this?
Come on.
It was like what 90s.
Yo, gang, I'm not.
No, the whole yo gang, I'm not Jack.
There's some of that's old slang, some of it's new slang.
What the crap? Stop me from ATL.
What is Keith's sexuality? He is straight. Sorry.
What is going on?
This is chat, bro. That's what they do. They're crazy. You want to help him grow? I'd scalp 80 men live leak style to be Skrelly's student for real. Don't bring him around. The pretty ladies might distract him. You're a lump of clay. They are a lump of clay that you can mold. Pod half trap. Like the Spartans used to mentor their young. That's right. Keith, is it larger than 6.5?
Okay.
Is Keith a Mossad agent? That remains to be determined. Is Keith allergic to roofies? Did Keith come from a single-parent household? Keith, would you rather be streaming with clavicular or ISO speed? Can I be Keith's intern? That is an idea. Keith's opinion on polygamy. Oil him up? No. Does Keith get strippers with his profits? I will help him grow. Weird smiley face. Keith's new hedge fund. Chad is a pit of savages. Keith, if you come to LA, we'll take you to strip club. Bro, why is everyone trying to fuck Keith? Keith play League? Yes, sir. No, wait, no, he doesn't.
Rocket League.
Rocket League. Perfect. Intel is super strong. Need to get Keith on Rust. I tried. He didn't want to play. What is your rank in RL 3v3?
I'll do 3.
You didn't do 3v3.
2-2, I was champ.
2v2, he was champ. Champion. Sounds like the Howard Stern 2.0 show. Yeah, I agree, Dosh. It's a little odd. Is Keith a virgin? No. How do I know this? He told me, okay? Cowboy Keith. Do I like Intel? I have no opinion, really. What grade is Keith's reading level? Is Keith happy? Keith Cam could be huge for the stream. Keith will be the next Leopold. Is Keith having a relation to Chief Keith? Tell Keith to get a roster, he's fired. RL is Rocket League. What does Keith think of photonics? Keith this, Keith that. You took his virginity? No. No, sir. You got us fucked up. Get us a little fucked up over here. Myers Courage. What's up in Nubius? It's an interesting company. What's the share price now? I had the share price at 27. And I was like, nah. 273. 27, and I passed. It's 273 now. Ain't that some shit? I don't know, Dell. Been a long time still. People are crazy, bro. Talking about took his virginity. Would you be interested in that? Hypothetically? But for real, is that what you want? Oh man. You know, there's Godel DL employees that watch the stream. So when you walk out there, people are gonna be like,
That's good.
bro, what's wrong with these people? Arcade. It is embarrassing. So why do you do it?
I'm not doing it.
No, can't fucking with you.
I'm minding my business.
Did they kill my stream? Did they kill it? Keith is now the star. Does Keith play Fortnite? Does Keith like Gladiator movies? I want to play Fortnite with Keith.
Ooh.
What's up? Does Keith like cats or dogs? I started Keith Clips channel. Bro, stop harassing him. Sorry. Oh, man. I'm not sure what to do with Bloom. Obviously growing well and doing well.
US inflation might have peaked. So things like this matter.
I mean, they matter to all stocks.
Yeah.
And if you're just short a lot of one stock and the stock market goes up, I mean, you're just short everything. So what happens if Trump says world peace is declared tomorrow? Just all stocks go up. You lose money because of that. You want to bet on that? Doesn't seem like a smart idea. I'd have an equal short book with the long book. That's called long short hedging. Buy SMH if you don't know what to buy. You could buy SPY if you don't know what to buy. SPY is all stocks, so it's like you don't listen. It's like he doesn't listen.
You list
It's okay. Deal.
S&P 500 too at all time high.
Yeah, that's why you would be hedged. You wouldn't make money or lose money. You only make money if your stock does something specific.
I believe.
Okay.
I have strong conviction since this place is plus. Dude. I don't think it's explosive.
It was blessed. What do you think? POV Keith is fake. Has anyone seen the Keith guy? He's on camera all the time. People are obsessed. Obsessed, I tell you. Did you tell Keith about the blessing?
I think so. Full of people.
As a Keith Senior,
I told Keith Senior that one.
he already has that, yeah.
Yeah, I said, oh, you're lucky. That was a one-time okay. It's a daily thing.
All right, so maybe a 74 billion cap. Balance sheet. 8042. 1606. A little bit of debt there. Whoa, more than a little bit. But nowhere near CoreWeave's. Okay, so at 2 billion in revenue. Oh, growing very rapidly, of course. What's the PP&E here? 13. So EV to PP&E for Core was 1.84. EV to PE for Nebius is 5.6. Holy shit. Bruh.
What is it?
All right, 10K, buddy.
Okay.
Fucking, how hard is reading? Rename Godel Terminal to Keith the Terminator. It's probably a better name. All right, we did that. As a reminder, SanDisk is a leading developer, manufacturer, and provider of data storage devices and solutions based on NAND flash technology.
But the solutions part says like
A lot of these words are
fancy bullshit.
bullshit. Yeah. What's a solution? It's a hard drive. With a differentiated innovation engine driving advancements in storage and semiconductor technologies, our broad and ever-expanding portfolio delivers powerful flash storage solutions for AI workloads in data centers, edge devices, and consumers. That's when we stopped. You understand what edge means.
Edge.
Edge devices are like your cell phone.
Okay.
Devices on the edge are out, like the end of the network. You know, there's a data center that has all the machines, right?
Yeah.
But that data center is connected to some other servers, like at AWS. Then those are connected to our router, and then finally, you know, you connect your computer to or whatever to the router.
Okay.
Okay. Our technologies enable everyone, from students, gamers, and home offices, to the largest enterprises and public clouds, to produce, analyze, and store data. Our solutions include a broad range of solid-state drives, embedded products, removable cards, USB drives, and wafers and components. Sorry, what's going on? Keith is 100% one side. Yikes, offset that with a 6-month option. Keith the thief. I bought 2 terabyte SanDisk SSDs 2 years ago. It's now double the price. Okay. Our broad portfolio of technology and products addresses multiple end markets of cloud, client, and consumer, CCC. Through the client end market, we provide our OEM, that's a key acronym for you to learn, original equipment manufacturer. So they're OEM. And channel customers, a broad array of high-performance flash solutions across PCs, mobile, gaming, automotive, VR headsets, at-home entertainment, and industrial spaces. So client is, you know, they're an OEM, so they sell to a client. Good example would be someone like who makes a mobile device like Samsung or Apple. Now, Samsung has their own flash. They make their own flash. But Apple probably doesn't. And to the extent the iPhone uses any flash, Apple would be a customer of SanDisk. That's the client market. They're the OEM because they made it. They make the actual component. When you buy the iPhone, it's technically, you know, Apple's selling you a phone, but the OEM of that component is SanDisk.
Yeah.
Now there's probably 50 components in there, hundreds, thousands. So that's client. Consumer is highlighted by a range of retail and other end-use products, capitalizing on our brand recognition. Cloud is products for data centers, cloud service providers, and private cloud customers. So data centers and cloud service providers. Well, a cloud service provider is somebody like AWS, Amazon Web Services, or perhaps Microsoft's product is called Azure. Those are the cloud. But Facebook has their own cloud. You can't rent it, but it's Facebook's cloud for their own, just Facebook, because it's such a big product, right? So private cloud. Data center is a little stranger. It's like kind of big football field sized place with computers. Somebody owns the data center and companies rent from it. It's kind of like a part of the cloud, sort of. All right, through the client end market, we talked about that. We talked about cloud. We hold a strong position in consumer and have consumer brands and franchises, patents, 10,000 patents, extensive customer, partner, and channel relationships. A lot of this is BS. Rich heritage of innovation. All this stuff is kind of BS. And again, you have to sort of be able to just kind of ignore, the bullshit and just focus on, what's important. We are a customer-focused organization. What company isn't a customer-focused organization that has developed deep relationships with industry leaders to continue? Okay, we operate in the data storage industry. The ability to access data from anywhere is important. Data is a fundamental concept underpinning technology. Our strengths, innovation, have provided a foundation, which is a building block. We believe there is tremendous end market. Our expertise in Flash enables us to bring products to market. We monitor the full array of Flash technologies and review these technologies with our customers. All right, this now is finally important. Flash products provide non-volatile data storage based on Flash technology. Do you know what that means, non-volatile?
No.
Volatile actually comes from chemistry, but volatile means that when you turn the power off, the data's gone. So non-volatile means it stays.
Okay, yeah. I know that sound. That's
Yeah. So DRAM is volatile, but SanDisk SSDs are not.
Yeah.
We develop and manufacture SSDs or solid state storage products for a variety of markets. Okay, this is important. Over time, we have successfully developed and commercialized successive generations of 2- and 3-dimensional Flash technology.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, we have successfully developed and commercialized successive, meaning one after the other, generations of 2- and 3-dimensional Flash technology. I don't know 100% what that means, but it seems to me like 3-dimensional would provide more space. Right, something's 2-dimensional, it's a square. And then 3-dimensional means it becomes a cube.
Yeah.
So it seems like that would be better for storage because you have way more space. Like 5 times 5 is 25, but cubed is 125.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of, potential for storage there. So I don't know if that would work with, that concept is kind of how it works with this, but I'll ask ChatGPT. So we developed that 3D Flash technology with increased numbers of storage bits. Bit is 1 or 0.
Okay.
And that's how you store data. There's lots of 1s or 0s. Per cell is like a, if it is like 5 inches by 5 inches or 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, a cell is probably like a billion cells in there, little places where the data is stored. So the number of bits per cell in an increasingly smaller form factor, driving cost reductions. We devote R&D to making highly reliable, high-performance, cost-effective Flash technology and are continually pursuing developments in next-generation Flash. Okay. Certain of our brands will be sold through Western Digital for a transitional period. Cloud represents a large and growing end market. We provide cloud with high-performance enterprise solid-state drives, flash-based solid-state and software that are optimized for performance applications, a range of capacity and performance levels, primarily for enterprise servers, and supporting high-volume online transactions like payments, data analysis, AI, other enterprise. Through the client end market, we provide data solutions, hard drives, that are solid-state drives, that we incorporate into our clients' devices. So that's desktops and notebook PCs like Dell, gaming consoles, probably Xbox, and set-top boxes like your cable box, as well as flash-embedded storage products for mobile phones, tablets, notebook PCs, wearables, automotives. Your car probably has SanDisk, or cars have SanDisk.
Yeah, even my mom uses that.
Really?
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, there's a camera storage.
Yeah. IoT, industrial. Our SSDs are designed for use in devices requiring high performance, reliable capacity, various attributes such as low cost per gigabyte, quiet acoustics, so they don't make any noise, low power consumption, and protection against shocks. It's not really low cost per gigabyte compared to other hard drives.
Why do they put their price higher than other hard drives?
Well, it's just better performance. You know, the old hard drives, that spinning plate thing, it's kind of really old technology.
So
It's cheaper, but it's slower.
the performance aspect would be, you know, not having any noise and also
No.
just being able to also just delete like
No,
a bunch of
fast
files.
speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, speed. So how fast can you copy? It's funny because the hard drive stores like a movie, right? How fast can the movie, which is a gigabyte, 10 gigabytes, 100 gigabytes, whatever, how fast can you take that from the disk into RAM? The computer, which is Intel, right, the processor, can't do anything. It's all in here, by the way, on this side. But the computer, which is there, the Intel processor, can't do anything without this stuff being in RAM and DRAM. But the DRAM is small. It's really fast. It's much faster than Flash. And Flash is much faster than old school hard drive. So from Flash, the movie goes to DRAM, or at least a part of the movie goes to DRAM. And the processor crunches the numbers to play it on your screen. When the next part of the movie is needed, again, goes from Flash to DRAM. So Micron is the MU, which is another stock to trade in this space. They would make it cheaper if they could. It's just really complicated technology. It's very fast and effective. That's why, otherwise, if it were cheaper, hard drives wouldn't exist. The spinning plate hard drives would be obsolete. We'd only use Flash. Now, increasingly, people are using Flash anyway. But we will look at Western Digital and Seagate too, because they compete with SanDisk. It's a bit of a different use, but yeah. Okay. They have removable cards and USB flash drives. Competition, critical. So, you know, some of their description of their business, you know, had a bunch of buzzwords and mostly bullshit. Only interesting thing I took away
Competition, yeah, that matters.
was the 2D, 3D thing. You know, so a little bit here is interesting. And some sections will be like, you know, you got to read this really carefully. Competition is not, you know, usually already what.
Usually what? kind of-
Usually you already know what the sort of story is on competition. But if you're brand new to the company, it doesn't, you know, it's not going to hurt. So here we go. Our industry is highly competitive. We believe we're well positioned. We face strong competition. We compete with various vertically integrated. Do you know what that means? Vertically integrated is horizontally integrated.
No.
It's a critical concept in business. So vertically integrated means you're making everything, and you're trying not to use too many suppliers. So like Tesla, they make their own windshield wipers, doors, batteries. Normally you would buy your batteries from
They're
someone else.
self-sustainable. They don't rely on companies like Roots.
Yeah. So that's vertically integrated. Yeah.
And what would be horizontal?
I feel like an old man right now. Horizontal is like, let's ask ChatGPT. I know the answer, but give an example of horizontal integration versus vertical. So try to see if you're horizontally integrated across your product line. Okay, it's the same stage of the value chain. So more of the same business.
To more the sales.
Yeah. If Ford bought GM, they'd be expanding horizontally. But you would say you're vertically integrated if you're making your own stuff, but you wouldn't say you're horizontally integrated unless you were like literally buying another company, because it's kind of a bit of a a good example from chat here is if you're Ford and you expand your factory or you make another factory doing the same exact thing, that's horizontal integration.
Okay.
But if you decide to go start making your own parts instead of buying your parts from someone else, you're vertically integrating. So it kind of makes sense that horizontal, like you're spreading this way, whereas vertical is like, no, there's another part of the value chain. Like a good example is a car company owning dealerships, which they don't. But if car company wanted to buy dealerships, or NVIDIA, for example, how would pop quiz? How would NVIDIA become vertically integrated?
If TSMC stopped making those, so
And they
started making their own chips.
Yeah, that's a really good example. I was going to go in the other direction. You're going kind of down the stack. I was thinking going up the stack. What would be up the stack?
If they bought TSMC.
No, that's down. TSMC makes it. There's where it starts.
Okay.
Then it goes to NVIDIA. Then who does it go to? Who buys the NVIDIA chips?
Microsoft.
Cloud. Right? CoreWeave. So if NVIDIA bought CoreWeave, that would be extreme vertical integration. And in fact, NVIDIA, because they're kind of running out of ways to expand.
Do you see them ever buying?
I believe that
That's crazy.
they've certainly lent. They've lent to CoreWeave.
Okay.
So, there's definitely a thought that maybe someday they buy CoreWeave, or Nebius or somebody like that. It's a little weird because then they would be competing with their other customers, right? Like who else? I mean, if you're AWS and you're like, what the fuck, you're buying CoreWeave, that's our competitor. So now you want to, why would we buy your chips? Because you want to sell them. We're supposed, you're making them for yourself to rent them out. You're supposed to make them for us to rent them out.
Yeah.
And now you're going to undercut us or something. That would be really difficult. That's why you guys.
No, doesn't that not matter for NVIDIA because they're expanding so much? Like they don't really need.
I don't think they do, but like if you think at CoreWeave has 50% margins, just renting out NVIDIA's chips. If you're NVIDIA, I don't rent them out ourselves. Why let these guys have any margin? And then I think Nebius is, dropped a lot.
It's almost possible. It's just like.
That's
Right back to square. That's crazy. I wasn't up, but it went down to 13.96%.
Okay. Okay, so we compete with vertically integrated suppliers such as Kyosha. You're gonna have to start trading this shit too.
Don't they, doesn't Kyosho help the manufacturer?
They do have a partnership, correct? Very
Yeah.
nice, very nice. The first time, you know,
No, because
not bad, not bad. Because what?
I read it.
Yeah, clearly good. So Kyosha trades in Japan, but we can trade it. I've traded it before. I was long it for a while. So the ticker of Kyosha is 285A. It's not letters. In Japan, it's numbers. You kind of have to remember these numbers.
It's an odds.
It's 51,000 yen, which is around $500. And yeah, you could trade it at night. Hey, night owl. Trade fucking Japan and Taiwan, bro.
Live, eat, sleep, trade.
Yeah, I mean, Japan opens at 8 o'clock. When Japan opens, I'm here. It's here all night.
What time do you usually leave the office?
Every night's different. I'd love to leave by 7 or 8 every day, but last night it was 11.
Well,
Jason likes to work. I like to work too, but Jason's got a hunger to win. Okay, so Kyosha, Micron, hashtag Keith. Keith studied, Keith's the GOAT. They're happy when you knew Kyosha. Intel short is ballsy. I don't think Google's in any danger. Platter drives are not going away unless NVMe is scaling up to 32 terabyte drives for under $1,000 anytime soon. Now you know what NVMe is, but holy shit.
what was it?
Yeah. Listen, you just start from your profits from scratch. I do think, a hedge would have been. Now you're hoping the market drops. Just a little odd, but you could have owned S&P, you could have owned SMH, Taiwan Semi, Nvidia, anything. But it'll come back down. Don't worry. I trust. Don't even look at it. So Kyosha, Micron, who else competes with SanDisk?
Oh,
Week's profit out in one day. That fucking sucks. Martin, does that say negatives? Yes. Yes, that's what it says. All right. Matter of fact, it's 8 now. Just for that. SanDisk shares up 6%. Today's their analyst day, dude.
yeah,
Are you listening?
I just following out to 30 seconds.
People were saying it yesterday. That's when they reported, they said their analyst day is coming soon.
Should exit. When's it out?
This press release just came out.
Just now.
At the Focus 2026 event, company expects to grow revenue mid to high teens.
Is that good?
That's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah. Bad.
This just came out?
Check Godel. Yeah. 1059. Dude, this is bad. I might have to take over this position.
So you're gonna short?
I was thinking. Let's read this. It says fiscal 28 through fiscal 30, we're going to grow revenue mid to high teens. Okay, let's open the model. It's going up, but I'm not, I think people are just still reacting to it.
Negatives and metal.
Hold on. Fiscal year 28, 29, and 30. Routines. It's funny because they just had this conference call. Let's see what the street was at. I think that's what the street was at. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I don't think it changes anything.
So you say the results are bad.
I'm not saying the results are bad. I'm saying that 28, basically saying that, I mean, it's better than the street expected in a way, but it's also, I'm not sure.
Which sense?
Yeah, I wouldn't get too carried away. I think they're saying the next 3, 28, 29, 30, mid to high teens. It's kind of a disappointment. The street's at up 20, which is more than high teens. So it's gonna be lower than that. But then in 29 and 30, the street expected down years. So they're now saying those are gonna be up years.
So that's good.
It is, but I wonder if that means 27 is gonna be, let's look at the presentation. Is there a presentation? 2026 Investor Day. When does this thing start? It was this morning? Or it's starting right now? It's going to start in half an hour. I would think you'd be...
So we don't get more info until half an hour.
No. That's when the analyst day starts. I don't think they have given guidance for 27. So I think that it's actually... If they're okay, there's Q1 guidance. Q1 is 10, 8. Yeah, I wonder if they're just going to borrow from. Yeah, I don't think there's anything new here. Yeah, I'm tempted to short some. I think it's a short because 1, there's no reason to believe their expectations will actually come to fruition. 2, we don't know what 27 looks like. 3, that's $800, which, they're still. It's tricky. They're still CapEx. I actually don't think anything changed. That's the thing that kind of yeah, I actually think it's short. Let me I'll take the email for this one if it doesn't work out. But
So I'd be 15.
one lesson learned here is if you have a company event coming up
I looked it up and
and you're not prepared for it, that's on you. You should be very aware of the company event. And then two, if there's news on your company that you're supposed to be following, that's immediately be something you know. You shouldn't be, surprised when news comes out. But yeah, I don't think it's really much new here. So kind of a good shorting opportunity, to be honest. I think this is all stuff people knew. People knew this was their view. I think the fact that the consensus estimate on EM is different, that's kind of what's concerning as a short, is that like Wall Street is expecting a drop in revenue, but I'm not sure, consensus is a weird thing. Like just because some Wall Street analysts are saying that doesn't mean the market expects that. The market is clearly expecting more. So the fact they're saying, they're going to do largely what the market was already expecting, I don't know that that's bullish. I think that's kind of like, all right, now we have to see what actually happens because we don't know what's going to actually happen. So that's kind of the way I look at it, if that makes sense. Another obvious thing is like, look, if a stock is moving like crazy, the first thing you check is if there's news on it.
Yeah.
Right?
I tried.
Well, clearly you didn't.
I did. I was just not gonna.
Well, that's my point. Yeah. Can you see it now on what up? So you understand what to look for next time? You see the time where it says Business Wire, 10:59 a.m., right? See that, 8:13?
No.
SanDisk N? What comes up? What's the first one?
Maybe the filter I have takes it off.
What's the first one say? What date it's from?
8:13, 10:59.
And what does it say? That's the press release.
Send this to let's go through.
That's what I just read.
Yeah.
Right? So open that, read it. And, clearly the market loves this news. I don't think it's really that meaningful. But we'll see. Yeah, you're supposed to have that news up, or, if it's a sudden spike like that, clearly something's different, right? Something's going on. And it's your job to sort of be like, okay, well, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of resources. Like you can ask people, you can, and obviously look at 10:57 or whatever, like that's when it hit. But I think it actually comes back down.
Scott gains widened to 11% of their company. With expectations.
Yeah, you have to read the press release, but and you also have to know what people were thinking and expecting, because like I think people thought there'd be a decline at some point in their revenue, and they're saying it's going to increase. But I also think that's not that surprising. The market, everyone and their brother knows that Flash is not new Flash will not be made in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So if you thought SanDisk revenue is going to drop next year, wow, it couldn't.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think this is a surprise. I think the meta is like, okay, well, the Bulls have, something in their corner now that they didn't have before, but I don't know that that's going to last. Like, you get excited, great, but like, all right, what's new? Tell me something I don't know. Everyone knows Flash is like one of these things that's just not, going anywhere. It'll drop. It'll drop. But, you know, it's a good lesson.
Yeah, definitely a good lesson. It's a painful lesson, but very valuable. That is idiotic. Lesson learned.
Yeah, they're also not really telling you what the impact on. They're telling you 28 and 29 and 30 are going to be better than they thought. They're not telling you what 27 is going to look like. So they could be borrowing in 28 and 29, 30 from 27 due to their long-term agreements. So it's unlikely that SanDisk has gotten 10% more valuable, you know. But at the same time, you know, market is right. You know, your job is to guess what the market's going to do.
Yeah.
Part of that is um, trying to figure out, like, do these people how does the market feel about sentiment and stuff like that? This guy writes, SanDisk is not dropping. Memory sentiment is worse as it can be now. I don't know if that's true. Um, sentiment picked up a lot after the Leopold fiasco, so I'm not sure that's true. No thoughts on AMAT. Efficient markets undefeated. Are you using fundamentals to day trade? Well, yes, actually. The fundamental news that just came out sent the stock up 15%. So yes. It's up because it was higher than consensus. If they said they're going to be down the next 3 years, I think that would be bad. Okay, morons. Ah.
Good on that. Oof. No, no.
Nah, you're fine. This is not. You're bound to learn something like this soon.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of lessons. Your instincts to get out were good. But I think the most important thing is the skill of understanding what the press release wrote, what it said.
Yeah.
I think you do have to understand, somebody correctly pointed out, like you have to understand the sentiment. Like, I don't know that people were that negative on SanDisk before.
No, there weren't.
You have to talk to like the players that are really trading it, and then, but I don't think that was the sort of situation. Just, okay. Slug. Yeah, I think this will fade just because like we have to listen to the call when it goes on in half an hour, but I think this was a very like expected event too.
Like a very expected result.
Well, the event was scheduled,
Yeah.
right? So
No,
like,
but I'm saying like the outcome.
I think this is what everybody knew. Like if you asked Dylan Patel, is Flash going to decline in 28? He would say no.
Yeah.
Now 29 and 30, look, they're guessing just like anybody else too. And then the question is like, what about 27? AMD raising through a bond offering. Okay.
Oh.
They said Santic started at 9 Eastern? I don't think so. It's at 9 Pacific. Do you know? Are you looking it up?
Sorry.
The call.
SanDisk call. What's in SanDisk call?
Yeah, what time is it? It was 9 Eastern. It already happened.
Yeah.
You had a whole call and you're not watching it. Come on, bro.
You're
insurance claim, great forces. We built a mulch.
This is not related.
How do I access?
Go to the website. Bro was scrolling talk instead of SanDisk.
Yeah, so first of all, GPUs are graphics and they read and write all their data. And that drove them to really push hard because they don't have enough processors device per chip. So the balance of SRAM to local DRAM. So the graphics drivers exploited attention. But the thing that we're going to see is they to what we call KV cache to decode the free cells. Those ratios will 1 to 1 to 5, 7, 4, and people are still moving. So if you build a machine that has specific processors, ratios get custom.
So how do you think about like where is like HBF? It's almost like a very like think of some where it will be really useful.
Yeah, definitely. So. AI is a very problem. And the limitation flashes great.
The US will deploy new aircraft carriers.
I saw it.
Hopefully they do some shit.
Yeah. Hopefully they make Santa's good.
Who knows?
HDF is. So that makes it great. The other file. Responsibility of save the result of computation in that big format. So people realize that you can't look at it, it's pretty small screen. You embed that.
Okay, the big headline, CFO Lewis, 'cause I'm asking since I missed the poll, what are the important factors? CFO Lewis fee so the net market will pass, things will go into.
The press release. I read the press release.
Data center.
Okay.
But we do also a lot of work outside the data
Let's go
center. And do you see any applicability of HPF, the edge devices and edge applications?
Oh, definitely. So today, autonomous things look at the world and process everything. Having human co-operation, KV catch of everything, see, but on device. With GPS. Like, it's, imagine you have a device that's actually.
Goes into all if you want. Maybe learn to do the beta thing I mentioned.
So,
The beta thing, that's going to be another mistake. I'm not going to say I told you so. You take beta risk. You can guess what's going to happen with Trump and the war. You can guess what's going to happen to the economy and inflation. You got to be hedged. Explain that later. But the same way you weren't prepared for this, eventually you're not going to be prepared for hedging either. Saving your ass on this trade. Probably going to print on this trade. They're almost break even.
I want to probably answer one question that I suspect is top of mind for many of you, which is, are we going to see HBs? So here's the latest update. I'm happy to share with you today that we actually taped out our first HBF memory die. You're seeing, actually, you happen to be the very first people in the room outside Sandisk seeing this picture. I apologize, I have to pixelate it because we're still not quite ready to share all the magic that goes into it. But our guy has taped out. But we don't have to wait too long to see the whole thing. A little bit more patience, please, but we're continuing working on this super hard to deliver our first samples to our customers of inference devices with HBM next year. Just little. With that, I thank you all very much for being here, and I'm going to invite back our CEO and David Goldner on stage. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.
Coming all this way to support us and more importantly for joining the advisory board. This has really been quite, as I said earlier, if I look back over the last year and a half, a lot of really great things have happened at Sandisk. But this one, the ability to make a market and attract people that's capable of saying Jim is capable, didn't understand, but people that are this distinguished in the field to come help drive this technology forward. It's just really amazing. So we're super happy about where this is, and we will keep you posted on product availability as we continue to drive these milestones. As Alta said, the fact that we now have a die that we've taped out, this product is real. It's going through the fab. We're producing it. we'll get it back, and then we'll put the systems together and get it in customers' hands, in our partners' hands. I think this point that was made, about co-development, and that's what it's all about when you're developing new technology, and if you're co-developing with some of the largest customers in the world, that's a really, really fun place to be. So as we make progress on that, as we get those samples in customers' hands, we'll get a lot more information about what the future of this technology looks like from a market, financial, all of that perspective. So stay tuned as we move through that process. All right, we've got, I'm not gonna read through all this because you just listened. But it's a recap of where we are. I think you can tell, or hopefully you can tell, we are extremely excited about where we are. Like I said, I've been doing this for 6.5 years, really trying to unlock the value of this franchise. I feel like we've made a lot of progress. Since we separated the company, we've seen both companies just bloom and really start to get the valuation. But I really do believe we're kind of now we're entering a very different phase of where we're going to take these franchises. The ability to really recognize the true value of this technology we've been building for decades. As the market changes, we build new customer relationships, and we really get this engine running. Again, turning bits to revenue, revenue to profit, profit to free cash flow, and returning cash. All right, I'm going to bring everybody back. And I don't know, somebody may have a question in this group. It's been my experience that some of you also often have questions. So we're gonna open it up for Q&A. We'll bring everybody back. Everybody is fair game, and we'll do our best to answer whatever questions you have. There will be a mic runner. So if you have a question, I guess raise your hand. Okay, right here. Go ahead.
Thanks for taking my question, Jim Schneider, Goldman Sachs. I have one business question, one technical question. First of all, the business question, can you talk a little bit about how you're thinking about the diversity of customers when in the NVMs? You talked about hyperscale component, the data center component. How do you think about the broader mix and having too much risk in any one given end market? And maybe secondly, on the technical side, if you think about we're in a lot of discussions about some GPU customers wanting to reduce the amount of HBM content in their systems today. So before HBF comes to the market, how do you think about the amount of HBF or conventional ESSD content you need to add to an existing GPU configuration to deliver the same performance?
Luis, you want to start with the customer mix?
Yeah, Jim, we've been very thoughtful in which customers we sign NPMs with. We're looking at different markets. It includes data centers, as we talked. It includes edge customers as well. So we're looking across. And even when you look at the hyperscalers, their business models are dramatically different. So being very thoughtful in driving that diversity for the business dimension. But we're betting on winning customers. We believe that they're going to be here with us for many, many years to come, and the level of integration, both technical and commercial, is as strong as it has ever been. But diversity of business models is one of the criteria we look at.
Jim, on the second point, I'll say a few words about what Kurt can very specifics. But I think what you're drawing out is what we're seeing in the market. It's definitely what Jim just like. This is changing in the case, right? And that makes it difficult to understand what product to build and how much of it to build. Especially with the way the market used to be organized, right? Build it and talk about what the price is later. And so what it says to me is there's just a huge premium on staying very close to your customers. Because this is going to change. It's going to continue to iterate over and over again. I mean, the scaling of inference is incredible. I mean, it's one of the most, I mean, it is the most incredible technology transition I've seen by far. Some pretty big ones. So it's going to change very rapidly. There's going to be constant innovation. You know, as Khurram said, there's a constant focus on how do you drive the requirements down? How do I use less power? How do I use less space? How do I make this more efficient? Because the more efficient you make it, you can scale it faster, right? And more economical. And also, if there's you know, 3 different people scaling inference around the globe, if one of them is twice as expensive as the other, that's not gonna work very well for the business model. So our customers, you know, the great thing about where we are from a broad technology point of view is we have these companies now that are just spectacular. I mean, they can scale on a global footprint, something this complex very, very quickly. And staying very close to them and understanding where they're going is, in my opinion, extraordinarily important for where we're gonna drive this franchise. And that's another kind of angle on these NBMs. As we said, we have some of the largest customers in the world. We have their commitment of what products they're gonna deploy quarter by quarter for the next 3 to 5 years. That gives us a lot of insight into all of this confusion of what's the product, what's the architecture, how it's gonna play out. It gives us incredibly unique insights about how that's gonna play out. And what are the right products to build, and where to put our resources to make sure we're successful. When you guys want to talk about a specific question?
Yeah, sure. So David is right. Our customers provide us with a lot of data, but I'll give you a little bit of long-winded answer on this. Like I talked about AI lab and SanDisk in action. You're absolutely right. So the question is the system DDR, how much of it you need, you know, as you have continuum between the volatile and non-volatile media. It was coincidental. I was sharing the data with David yesterday from our lab where we ran a 1.2 trillion parameter model. And we ran in multiple user sessions, prompts, and an interesting thing emerged from that. When you look at performance and power of the system to execute that workload, what we saw that after, and we ran both the HBM sweep and DRAM sweep. Like, think of it as a SHMO, right? When you and running the SHMO around capacity. So you start with, let's say, a number like 4 gig of volatile memory like HBM and DDR, and go all the way up to the maximum capacity of that server scale. And it was interesting to see to run that complex workload. You know, having just the HBM SSD was good enough, and you really required a minute amount of DDR to run the batch services. And that was a revelation to us. By the way, we heard the news that you're reducing on the mirror, I think cutting the system DRAM by half the SOCAMM DRAM. I would contend with the studies that we are doing, you get to go even further, right? If you have ESSD and HBM in the system. And like David mentioned, things are going to change. With respect to the ESSD capacity, again, it's workload dependent, how much you want to run, taking you back to persistent cache cache, right? How big you want to grow it. There's a lot of factors that go in, and those are more use case dependent, but certainly one thing is emerging that the system DDR with respect to running inference it should be reduced. Now could it be half, 1/8?
Where's
Hey guys, Ben Wrights from Melius. It's great to be here. Thanks for doing this. First, I got an observation, which some people find kind of amusing, and I wanted to react to it. The next question. You know, I've been going to tech conferences in the United States since about 1992. I've never seen a company guide for a year, 3 years out, and be trading at less than 3 times that number. It's pretty amazing. I just wanted to react to that. Less than 3 times your FY30 number. And second, HBF. So it's not the model, but you're only growing bits in high teens. I mean, how do we put it in? Like, what if this is a hit and we got added to the model? What are you getting rid of that we just guided for to make room for it? And how do we calculate upside if it's going to grow a certain amount?
So I appreciate your observation. I may come up with a different word than amazing. My reaction to that, but that's a whole other discussion. But this is a conversation I think we'll have as we get the product to customers' hands. We really understand what the demand is. Again, I'm going to sound like a broker. We keep coming back to these NPMs. We're going to follow our customers. right? When our customers tell us they need something, and this is the way most technology businesses work, right? You work with the customer, they want to buy something, and you build it. You don't like talk about what's the industry supply is like computers. Like we have the ability to produce what we can produce. And it's about getting these incentives aligned. And what I would argue, and I go back a year ago, the incentives in this industry are just completely misaligned, right? And that leads to all this volatility, and that's good for nobody. But we're clearly walking down the path. In 2 quarters, we've gone from 3 months of visibility to 4 years of visibility. So I think it's just a little bit of wait and see what it's like a year from now. When we actually have this product in those customers' hands, what their demand is going to be for that. And we'll then figure out what the production plan is behind that. Remember what I said earlier, we own the whole stack. Right? From the NAND IP to the production, front end, back end, the whole thing. So we're not ready to go there just yet. But, you know, imagine what could be possible in the future. All right. I'll go to the back next.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron Rickers.
Sorry, Aaron.
Aaron Rickers, Wells Fargo. Appreciate the day and all the details. I'm going to go down the path with HBM as well because I think it's a fascinating technology. Albert, you know, one of the evolutions in DRAM that we're seeing, specifically HBM, is this idea of customization, right? Driving towards a base die that has certain elements computed in. One, do you see that as a roadmap that you can explore on HBM? And then secondly, I guess back to Ben's question, if it's successful, we start to get into next year and we start to see design in, right? And maybe that means 2028 or 2029 volume. Should we expect the CapEx discussion to change? What's involved in a production of HBM advanced packaging? It's a different capital intensity that we should be thinking about.
So, thank you. I agree. I also love with HBM. So your first question, I apologize, but customization. So yes, customization that we started seeing. I mean, it is a natural flow of actually compute moving towards memory, right? Because it's just shuffling data around. It's just so expensive, so energy consuming. It's something that we had been anticipating in our near memory compute is going to definitely happen, and we're entirely prepared because we do have all the capabilities, or show you all the memory management capabilities we have. We only welcome being doing compute next to the memory or in the memory. I mean, it's our wheelhouse, and we'll love to do that. We'll cherish that, and we're highly capable of doing that. And so it's entirely a customer-based discussion. What for the part of that pre-compute or the compute itself do they want to perform inside the controller that sits next to that family? It's that conversation we need to align. But after that, you're going to see us being entirely capable of doing that. The second question in terms of like how do we think about all the investments, certainly one of the reasons I love the HBM is because it entirely leverages our know-how expertise in NAND flash. Right? We have the best flash, and that's why we were able to create HBF to start with. And in terms of what does it mean for capital, you have seen us talk about the productivity of our current NAND road generating actually giving us the potential to easily increase our output if we choose to do so. And this is a great outlet, right? I mean, the beauty of HBM is that as a business, it's entirely orthogonal to our storage business. So we could definitely entertain that. As Dave said, as time comes, we will see some of the other capabilities certainly are, again, within our capability range. We're looking forward and working on all of them. So it's going to be definitely very exciting. Let's wait until next year and see how this will get into the market. And I think those are excellent high-class problems that we're willing to work on.
Thanks so much for doing this today. Mark Newman from Bernstein. Actually, I wanted to ask about the HBMs. Seems like great progress that you're showing here again today. talked about the target, so you talked about FY 28 being 66 two-thirds volumes on NBMs by FY 28. Do you have any kind of target in mind for what percentage of volume that can get to? And related to that, like, what's the volume in FY 29 and beyond? It's also similar two-thirds level commitment on these NBMs. And then the second question, this may seem a silly question, but on the 100% excess cash to shareholders, does that mean 100% free cash flow, or do you have a different definition of excess cash? Just want to clarify that. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I hope I was clear on the free cash flow. Excess cash is defined very simple. The cash we're generating minus whatever we're investing in that bucket number one, investing in the business. There is no trick. It's 100% of the cash. Excess cash will go back to shareholders. And if you look at what we just did in Q1, that's exactly what we did. We generated $5 billion and we spent 4.5, right? It's pretty much there. I think on your question on the percentage of NBMs, we're going to be optimizing over time. We're going to be learning a lot, and we'll define what that optimal number is. We think that where we like the numbers that we see for 26, for 27, and the numbers that we see for 20. We think we've optimized based on the data that we have so far. But we'll keep on talking to customers. We'll keep on evaluating the situation, and that may evolve over time. Our goal is to create the maximum shareholder value that we can on a sustainable basis. So that's the filter, and that's what's going to guide that percentage. What is the number for 29? Yeah, I got the question before the session started. It's consistent with what the numbers that we're seeing. It's consistent with the 28 so far, but if that number will keep on evolving, that's why we didn't put it there. We'll keep on optimizing our number. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's Krish Sankar from TD Cowen. I had a question for thanks for your interesting presentation on KV Cash. The two pushbacks I heard on NAND for KV Cash is one, the tail latency is much longer than average latency, so that impacts systems throughput. And number two, it takes a long time to write KV Cache into NAND, so it lowers the lifetime of the device. So I'm kind of curious what your answer to that is. Thank you. I saw your post FMS commentary on this, and I wanted to send you a chart that I showed you, David. Look, when we talk about latency, you have to look at with the top tier, high bandwidth tier, maybe suffers from capacity. We all have to acknowledge that first, right? And like Jim was talking about, the need for the space to have all that context cannot be satisfied. So you have to go to the next tiers. Now, what we see so far, what we see is that the overall latency is actually quite good, and it's actually workload dependent. Like if you're looking at something that's real time, obviously you won't go to the next tier, right, of the KV cache. But you don't need to, you can put that in the high bandwidth tier, right? So it's not the one or the other. It's like it depends on what you are running. What was the second part of your question, right? Oh, lifetime. So look, we are making continuous progress. Alper keeps giving me great technology with very high endurance metrics. And part of this, we're learning a lot, not only on core technology, but also HBM that's allowing us to get like phenomenal endurance number, as you saw on the warm cache that we talked about, is exactly that. That required, like, for example, 3 write per day. So we are increasing the endurance at the same time. But again, it's also workload dependent. But you need to read for, like, we use our stock standard NAND, but like for the warm KV cache, to your point, we are offering a 10x much higher write per day, and we're on our conventional SSDs. So you're right, but we have tricks on how to do that.
Stanley, I also want to ask about the business mix between the segments. If you're a third data center now, it might be close to data center roughly double in the next 12 months. What does that imply for your mix year from now? Because if it's 60% data center, you really start the edge
just,
Like you said, that makes it just, it seems clear if there's a person like.
yeah, Joe, I mean, this is what we're talking about now. So like, there's a couple of things where we think about this, right? So part of it goes back to customers. There's different, we want to engage with customers on a lot of different, right? So there's different contracts for different duration now. That's why I know. So a little hard to say, but 29 and 30, because at the time where some deals are ending. And we also want to, we want to keep some flexibility in the system. But we'll be very, as Louis said, we're going to be very judicious about this. We're going to follow our customers. It's very clear that we want to operate our business. We want more visibility. We think that's better for everyone. Right? It helps us make the best decisions. It's very clear that this model started in a data center. I think that's fair to say. Very industry footprint. As I said earlier, we're starting to see that change pretty dramatically. Where customers are us and to have these kinds of deals. And like I said earlier, we want to make sure that we're really stage focused. And that means we have flow of products to the end, we have to do consumer, we have to do consumers. So we want to keep all of those in mind, make sure firms, engineers stay very busy, building the best edge products in the world, just like they're very busy building the best data center products in the world. Of course, they're very busy building the best consumer products. I think it's fair to say our data center business is good, right? And so we're going to continue to balance it. Sure that we keep all of those markets alive and we get the best return possible for all of you. Again, over that multi-time horizon that we're looking at. And so it's a little bit of a squishy answer, but that's, it's a little bit, when we see it in the deals that get presented to us. We've got a long roster now of like, here's the potential opportunities we have to engage in the next contract. Luis and I must talk about this 4 or 5 times a day, like literally for the last 9 months. We're constantly talking about this. First it was the structure. How are we going to structure this to make sure it works for both of us? And we just iterated around that. We came up with some ideas of how we thought it would work. We talked to our customers, and we got that landed. So we got the model landed. And it was for, some of the first ones were some very big ones, quite frankly. We got those locked in. We're moving it around that. So as we go through this process now, we're going to make sure we do all those things I just said. How do we optimize value creation over all of these time horizons? We want to make sure we keep the full portfolio alive and running. And we want to make sure we mix into more data center. Where is the final target?
Just a quick question back on HBF. I think one of the things we saw on DRAM side is when HBM came out, it made conventional DRAM very tight and took out capacity. You see the same thing happening with HBF when conventional NAND. Is your first gen HBF on XA, XNAND, if you give us some idea of the pricing that is okay, and what's the capital intensity, I guess, on HBF versus
We're going to give out pricing in it out for.
I feel it's priceless. Same time, I'll answer your question that I know something about, which is HBF being based on using our ability to mix and match different technologies, but the array technology is mostly based on SICT. So that's where the capital still is based on. And we're going to use the most convenient CMOS technology that will drive all of the features and capabilities and performance we need. That's going to be something more than higher performance technology. I give an example of that mixed nightly, whatever, and this is not going to be too different on that. As to like how we think about its impact, as I said, our technology right now is giving us a 27% growth capability per wafer. And we're using only 2/3 of that capability in how much we push into production. I think we have a lot of headroom to grow through the innovation that we have. And allow HBM to squeeze into that. If HBM becomes even bigger than that, as I said, that's problems, I'm sure we can do that. Because we know how to manufacture things at mega scale.
Yeah, I think, I guess I gotta ask you, it's kind of getting back to the same thing. Where you're gonna get capacity for it, it's scale. I mean, one of the things that I hope you walk away from this with is NAND is very scalable technology. We have the fundamental, to Alpert's point, we have the fundamental engine for at least another decade of line of sight to scale. And I think that's an important issue, right? I think that in the end, it's taught me a lot of this, quite frankly. The most scalable technology wins. Right? And so if you get the economics right, our problem are not our ability to scale. The issue is the chart that Eric put up. We have this giant discontinuity period where we end up taking hundreds or thousands of wafers out of the system because we didn't get supply and we don't understand the dynamics of the market because we don't have enough visibility. And that is the fun, in my opinion, the answer to all of these questions. That's where the magic, that's where the answer is. Getting more visibility into what demand's going to be. There's nothing we can do about demand this year or supply this year. The Fed plan is coming, right? But when you start talking about the turn of the century, yeah, we can start turning the dials, but
Turn of the century.
the other thing you should take.
Turn of the decade.
Sorry.
You meant decade.
Current put up that 4 variables, you multiply them all together to get your cash size. Okay. So again, I'll go back to do the math. So when you have 4 variables and you're multiplying them together, when you start changing any one of them, the outcome can just be wildly different, right? So you're essentially answering this question. What should I build for 5 or 10 years from now? The people that have the answer to that question are the ones that are investing the billions of dollars to build the infrastructure. And the most important thing is to get as close to those people as possible, understand their roadmap. You help them understand what's possible. I think that's really the magic of HBF. Like, you can't really expect somebody that is not a world-class memory expert to solve the memory wall problem. I think that would be an unlikely outcome. The most likely outcome is the people that are world-class experts in memory and storage design, which these guys have been doing for decades, are going to be the ones that help unlock the scaling issue. And again, who do you want to stay close to? The video. Co-development is the answer. This has been, this is not new for us. Like, we've been doing co-development with hyperscalers for a generation of technology now. Because you're going to get this, that's where you're going to find out how everything fits together. So I think the answers to all these questions are, we need to extend this visibility into what true demand is really going to be. And if we do that, I think everybody wins. And like I said, we're 2 quarters down this path of kind of, I don't want to say inventing a new business model, but again, this is not the contracts of the past. This is not, well, just sign this NCNR contract. That's not what this is at all. It's a completely handcrafted structure of how we're going to work together. 2 quarters, we've gone from 3 months to 4 years. Let's see where we are next year. And I think it will help answer all of these questions.
And if I may add real quickly, please take a look at the wafers outside. Look at 8 and 10 next to each other. And you're going to see 65% growth from one to the next one. How many generations will it take DRAM to scale 65%? They're scaling single-digit percentage every generation, every year they have to. So you're looking at 10 years of, or more than 10 years of DRAM scaling in one wafer. So you ask, what are you gonna do if there's an explosion? I'll move to the extent, I'll get 65%. Not too difficult.
DRAM's a fantastic technology. There's an easy way to get more of it, like spend a lot of money. Right? Let's go.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question, CJ News with Cantor. I guess Luis, first question for you and then one for Albert. As you think about the NBMs and you contemplate your annual cost downs, is that something that you will 100% benefit from, or is that something you share inside the contracts? And then for Albert, you highlighted 4 potential solutions with HBF. Curious what your customers are kind of responding to. Is the disaggregation really where they're focused, or are the other kind of 3 solutions where you're getting the best feedback? Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, CJ, I love the level of details we give you on the NBMs, and you guys always want more. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into pricing at more detail. It just gets very sensitive given the conversations we have with our customers. I think the key message you should have is, even at the lowest price, at the floor pricing, at any point in time, we don't expect these NBMs to be below 80%. We expect that to be around 80%. So you can model that. And we have confidence of that over time, right? So every single year over the period, we should be able to be even at floor pricing around 80%.
And answering your question, CJ, when you looked at some of these architectures that I showed, like the first 2 are almost similar architectures. You don't need to, you just decide based on your specific needs. And the disaggregated one, you could also think of that as from an HBF perspective, one being very similar to an HBF only architecture, except for at a system deployment level, you're disaggregating. So it turns out that all those 3 architectures can be served through a single architecture, and that's where we're seeing the concentration of the discussion right now. Of course, the mobile space is very different. That's what I sort of showing differently. There's a little bit difference, but in the data center, I think it's all going to be around those 3 architectures. And there might be some other proprietary ones as well that I'm not able to talk right now, but we haven't quite seen anything that shows this tiered architecture, if you will, the cached architecture quite yet. But it's also very interesting that the published data on that from the university research was very robust.
Okay, we'll take a couple, we have lunch waiting, and we've kept you in here a long time. Or we'll all be around to answer questions. We'll take a couple more here if people have them. And then we'll break.
Hi, this is Sam Feldman on for Carl Ackerman at BP Paribas. Dave, you indicated that your technology roadmap can support a 27% bit CAGR for the duration of your NBM contracts, well above your projection for mid-teens growth. One of the ways to meet that projection is supplying CapEx discipline through the elongated nodal transitions from historical rates of every 18 months. So first, how does SanDisk think about balancing the share if
This is you.
provider slows down nodal transitions?
He's reading his boss's question out.
Should NAND cost improvement of big
He should have gone to this.
and future big nodes slow down to 10%?
That guy would be
or
your
less
the
given
homie.
reuse of band cell arrays.
This guy's looks Mac.
Transitions. Thanks.
I don't know if I got that second question. I think besides probably the 2 questions, I always forget the first question as I'm listening to the second question. I think you're asking about, can everybody just speed up nodal transition to increase supply, right? I mean, and I think the answer to that question is, like these are R&D productivity numbers, but then you have to translate it into an actual fab plan, and that takes years of planning. So it's not a diet you just turn up and down, right? It's not that simple. Like you have to plan years in advance. There's people in our business, and I'm sure all of our peers have all the same people, anybody in the semiconductor business. Here's our fab plan for years in advance and month by month. What node is running where, in what fab, what is it yielding? And then you add all that up and you get a bit output. So you can definitely start to change that, right? The point we're making on productivity is we have ways to scale that are very CapEx efficient. And again, I go back, I'll go back, I don't want to keep talking about it over and over, go back to the company split. I remember when we split Western Digital, it was like, oh, HDD and it is a great business. It's 4 to 6% capital intensity. Here we are in NAND. It's like, Luis, you just committed to what capital intensity?
Yeah, single digits, right?
Yeah, so it's like this scalability is incredible in multiple dimensions, right? This idea that 19 generations of innovation by this incredible team has led to this technology, and it's still got a lot of, there's still a very, very long roadmap. So that understanding that scalability is important to understand the business and how it shows up in different ways. And, also there's a flip side to it, right? Like everything in life, there's, some things can be a double-edged sword. If you get it wrong, you can overproduce very quickly. I think that's a little bit of the basis of your question. That was the pre-23 world. If you go to the pre-23 world, it was 30 and 15, man. I was saying the same thing, 30% growth, 15% cost downs. It wasn't true. And if you invest to that, it's just not going to work, right? So you have to throttle that productivity, which is fine. You just put a mixed plan together that delivers it. Make sure you stay focused on delivering it and realize that when new businesses come in, when new innovation comes, it's likely going to come. Another way I think about it is the scalability is going to attract TAM. Right? It's kind of the way I think in my head. Like the more scalable you are, people are going to start using your technology more and more because it's efficient, can be produced, all these kinds of issues. As you're seeing that happen, you want to have enough.
10 minutes.
There's enough,
The big homie.
horsepower in the engine that we can go at the level we need to go. We just need to not overrun the market. And again, it's back to the same thing I keep saying. The answer to all these questions is aligning the investment horizons in this business. And where we were, and I've said this publicly a couple of times, it was just ridiculous. This idea that you're going to make 10-year investments and then you're going to hold a quarterly auction to see who buys your stuff and at what price. It just makes no sense. And I think we're rapidly transitioning to something that's very different, believe it or not, right? Like there's the diehard cycle people and like, let me tell you how semiconductors work. This is the way it's been for 20 years. I happen to have a belief you can change the future. You can change things. If you methodically make changes and they compound over time, things can be different in the future. Sitting around waiting for the past to come back, in my view, is like a total waste of time. Like, let's invent something new that works for everybody. And we got a whole bunch of people that want to go there with us. It's unbelievable. It's incredible. Unbelievable. I forgot what the second question is. It's probably too long of an answer to this.
It's just on cost downs and the reduced land sale rates for BICS9.
Cost downs for BICS9.
Yeah, like cost downs going forward.
One thing I said last time, I'm going to go back. I said we're going to stop talking about cost downs. Right? I actually said that, and we stopped talking about cost downs. I have to give all of you guys a lot of credit. Like every earnings call, it's like, Dave, what's the cost downs? What's the cost? We're not talking about cost downs anymore. Everybody stopped asking.
What's cost down?
I actually don't know.
Sorry?
That's our job. Our job is to drive efficiency. Our cost downs are ours. That's part of the productivity of the company. Right? And when we talk about them all the time, everybody else thinks the cost downs belong to them. Right? And they don't. They're ours.
Margin
Because of
improvements.
all the great work these guys do. And the market will determine what the price of our product should be, not how much it costs to do. And it's just as simple as that. Although it is cheaper in the future. That's what I mean, again, this is why it's such an unbelievable franchise. Am I going to tell you what they all are? Of course not. But are they there? Of course they are. That's the magic of what we're doing, right? That's the magic of these guys building 19 generations of NAND. And what I said before, if you think it's easy, give it a try. Right?
Chinese says, okay, no problem.
Thanks a lot.
Need China to come in clutch.
Thanks a lot.
Huh?
China needs to come in clutch.
Yep. Are you leaving?
All the details,
No.
around the
When are you leaving?
You know,
Probably
I
like
think a lot of people who go through a lot of.
I'm definitely not missing tech. Like
Industries and looked at
but
these NBMs, so skeptical lens and sort of.
130.
We've
Okay.
gone through many eras where when you're in an upcycle, these NBMs obviously stick. And a skeptic would say in a down cycle, these NBMs typically have not held up very well across many cyclical industries, not just and so I'd love to get your response on why is this kind of different in the sense of if we went through hyperscalers during COVID who had a demand forecast that they were forecasted and we had an inventory correction. What makes the forecast today better than their ability to forecast out to 2030 any better? Because I think some of what you're forecasting is dependent on what they're forecasting effectively. So, would love to get your thoughts on that.
I'll try to. First of all, in everything in life, the easiest thing is to be skeptical. Why don't we just say no at the starting line and never be anything, right? Well, let's just be skeptical all the time, right? Why do anything? Why even try? It's all gonna fail,
Right?
right? And look, I get it. Like people, it's good to be skeptical. I'm skeptical, but you have to have a belief that you can change things and get a better outcome. This is very important. I look very deeply at this in people we hire. Are you willing to change things and have the confidence you can get a better outcome? It's somewhat unusual because most people won't change things because they think they're going to break something. We don't have that problem. It was already broken. Hint, hint. My good friend Luis, who we worked together before, I was lucky enough to have him join me in this. And,
All the irony is you were long this thing.
Why are we doing this? It's like, there's a different way to do this. Other industries, to your point, do this differently and they get a different outcome. And so.
The call didn't happen today. I would have had a good day.
And you have to have the confidence to do that.
Yeah,
That's probably not the way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let that compound over time. So is it going to be different? Maybe not. I'm fully willing to admit that. You guys are all in the investment business. I think that mine is, and investments are subject to risks and uncertainty, right? But where the most uncertainty is and where the most skepticism is also where the biggest returns are and where the biggest opportunities are. That should be the message of SanDisk over the last.
You just go to the bathroom.
Keep an eye out. And more to do with skepticism. It existed 18 months ago. Where we start, like I said before, compounded growth rates, very sensitive to the endpoints. And when you start with the endpoint extremely low, like way less than even the replacement cost of your franchise, arguably some small percentage of it, of course you can have very good outcomes. Doesn't mean I'm not proud of what we've done over the last year. I'm very proud of that. But that's why I say you have to put that behind you and look at where we are today. And like get all that out of your head and then make a clear idea of what is the most likely outcome? What is most likely going to happen? Not what happened in the past and we're just going to go back to the past. We've changed things. You have to make your own calculus. So if you think that's going to be successful, we've made that calculus. We're very comfortable with it. We're trying to make that case to you, but we can't. If you don't believe it and you need to see it, then we just have to wait for it to come. Right? But we pretty clear. We just put a capital return policy in place that tells you what we think, and we're going to continue to execute that very, very dramatically. But the future is an uncertain place. But I will say something. We touched on this. Imagine the level. I think I've said this to some of you. It's very difficult from your perspective to understand what we're going through. Because unless you're in this business, you don't understand just radical fundamental changes going on. When I started, I came into this business in 2000, and I had a meeting with one of my peers at one of our customers. Couple who happened to work for the CEO of a hyperscaler. I got a call the next day saying the supply chain team and customer was unhappy when I met with my colleague, and that I needed to clear it with them first before I had a conversation with my former peer. That's how now we're talking to the CEO. Now we're talking to the CFO. It's the incredible, it's gone from this transactional, you are somebody that we're just going to negotiate with all the time. Your technology is good, and it's respectful. There's nothing, any issues, but it's just like, this is your place of work, and we will talk about price constantly. To, we're having strategic conversations with the most consequential people in these companies. Those people could be just over the rollover eyes, they could be just a big thing, they could get their guesses. That's not my calculus, that's the recyclable calculus. Those people are officers of public companies, just like I am. They have responsibilities. Board of directors, I'm on the board of directors of other companies. You don't sit in the boardroom thinking about, hey, I'm going to enter a contract so I can exit as soon as possible. You don't think about that. If you think that way, you don't think so. So it's very different. Is it a guarantee? But
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It fell?
Just fell around. I don't know.
The fuck? Did it make it loud sound?
Oh really? Just quietly just go. Wow.
But anyways, just for the physical AI, maybe some of these, non-data center demand drivers that are out there, assuming there's still like maybe 20-30% of the bits that are still going to be consumed as we look beyond 2028, fiscal 28. Like, what's the feedback? I mean, we just keep hearing a lot about despeccing and some of these edge client devices, a lot of them suffering from a lot of pain because of where memory and storage price points are at this point. Like, just help us understand the conversations that are going in. It seems like some of them are, MDMs, client edge customers. So how are they sort of thinking about your demand outlook beyond just, let's say, calendar 6?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky question because I don't want to get into customer by customer discussions, right? But we are engaged with physical AI customers at a deep level. We understand their needs and we're working with them very, very closely. So yeah, we have those relationships and they're great, and I just can't get into too much details on what they are. But it's a market we are committed to. We see it growing, and there's a huge potential for sure.
All right, look, I want to thank all you guys for hanging in there for like over 3 hours now. I see the clock. Lunch is here. Thanks for spending time with us, and I'm sure we'll be engaging in very detailed level going forward.
So they're going to talk after lunch, or is this over?
It could be you look for the program. Should be able to find it.
I don't know what you mean.
Huh?
What do you mean look for them?
Look. I mean, they got to say on the website somewhere how long the thing's going to last, and just put the details somewhere. There's no schedule of events. There's no program. Investor Day. Sounds like it's an investor day. Here's the agenda, aka program. Welcome. 98 slides. I don't know if they're planning on doing it after. They probably said something about the schedule or program earlier in the day. Lunch break, missing that. These are supposed to be the ones with the answers. That is true.
It's done.
It's over for the whole day?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it in New York? If it's in New York, you should go. Just go back in time a little.
Yeah, it's in New York.
You know where?
Um,
Some hotel. Damn, this fucking SanDisk. Not gonna crash out. Not gonna crash out. Not gonna crash out. It'll drop, don't worry. Oh.
receive data seconds. He's got that sound. Basically, technically, most of us, case and these employees measuring by performance. We're all with, but you're a big sense. That's also uses a lot of our players. That's the volume. Well, Nice idea, technology training. Are and well, there's always story. Like on interviews, like goes into it. Jar Martin at finance and other places. They're obviously members. But we gotta tell them. They're on. Oh, yes. Wait, so when you're done, I see now,
Yeah.
Who is that?
I don't know where that told me that. And this.
Sounds familiar, I think it's the map, so.
Yeah. Where did you call? You called me. How's it going with the other bitch? What was the last message?
So like, I was like, I was down in New Jersey, so last day or last week. Nice. So what are we, so what are you doing next week? What we talk about, but that's almost location. Are you talking about bullshit expensive, right?
Yeah.
Are you talking?
Yeah, sure.
Are you parts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Wish you had told me sooner.
Yeah, I do like getting it, but I don't try it. But,
We're still seeing Hunter this weekend though, right? Still seeing Hunter this weekend?
big plan for it.
Yeah.
You say it?
I mean, yeah. The last weekend was locked in.
Well, no.
Bro.
And this weekend would work. My dad's here. It's like really hard.
Fabrice is coming?
Yeah.
Bro. Why?
Do something for it. Not much to do. I mean, there's things to do, but it's not like,
Bro.
you know, for Jason, they want to do. So, only so. Fucking, yeah, it's like what they said it or what?
Dude, like you kind of like I remember you were like, yeah, let's do it this weekend. Like I think you fucking said.
Yeah, my dad's not home. Fucking heard this.
Well. Fuck.
Then what they full fuck. Yeah, like full fuck.
Yeah. Which one said this? Oh yeah. Ouch. Tell you later. Painful. No. Yeah. I fucked up big time. You big. No. I'm like angry, like rolls into the eyes. No, no, no.
He started something.
Okay, I'm not.
There's always something that I'm most great stuff.
I'll have to look, yeah. All right, I'm doing this doctor call.
Decent one.
I'm gonna do this doctor call at 1 on leukemia and AML.
Yeah. Did chat say anything or not?
Yes,
What is that?
we're gonna end up on LSF. I don't know what that is. Do you know what LSF is? Damn, he's down so much at SanDisk. Chat's been grilling you all fucking. Said he's down a house, he's down a car, he's down a whole salary, he's down. Don't worry, I took over the trade. They said he got Leopolded. He said, Martin's your Ken Griffin, he took over the trade. I was like, look, yeah, the whole point of the analyst PM relationship, by the way, is that when the analyst comes up with trades and ideas, and there's one that I really like, that I'll make the trade. Now I'm still down on this, but I have faith it'll be positive. I don't think this analyst day was enough to move the stock like this. People wait for these things for, like, this happens once a year, which is all the more embarrassing that we weren't ready for it, right? I mean, sometimes not even once a year, sometimes once every few years. Having the analyst day is a big deal. They brought all the sell side, gave the long-term vision. It's a really big deal. And they talked about it on the conference call. They said, our analyst day is in a few weeks. We'll see you there. So we should have been 100% prepared for it. But at the same time, again, there's nothing revolutionary here. I mean, they're really focused on this HBF, which is, different, high bandwidth flash. But at the end of the day, I don't think they said anything new. And that usually means you'll get a nice fade. So I think you get the fade. Will we make money on this trade? I don't know, but I'm going to put it in my book. Now, look, if it goes down enough and you want the trade back, I can size it down and eat some of the loss, or we can negotiate how this is going to go. But I'm not going to let you take the whole L.
I'll take the whole L.
No. Listen, I'm the one who supersized it. If you, stayed on it, right, your loss would be
20K.
Not even close.
No, I was down 16K on my own at some point. I'm definitely down.
No, that's when it was going haywire. Well, let's see where it ends up. And we'll decide how to handle it. We'll make it fair. There'll be a reckoning. It could be a couple ways to handle it. We'll see. But if it ends up green, I think, we could do it a few different ways. I mean, if it ends up green, I could still charge you for those, for the stop loss. But, or I can give you back your original position. There's a couple ways we can handle it. But we'll go through the damage and the body count when it's over. But for now, I'm going to handle this trade. And again, to the chat said, and they make a good point, that I was the one goading you to short it all day. So you were actually bullish, and you wanted to cover 2 or 3 times. I told you not to. So, that's one of the problems with the PM analyst relationship is it's always, a little bit. There's an old joke I used to tell. Steve Cohen has 200-300 traders working for him, and it's bonus season. It's Christmas time, so a trader walks in. No, look, actually, it's Steve Cohen's firm. It's very cut and dry. They just take your number and give you a chunk, right? And so you're working at Tiger Cub. It's 20 guys, but they're analysts. And Tiger Cub boss calls you in. All right, Keith, let's see. How'd you do this year? And you say, Keith says, I'm so excited. You know, we did such a great job trading semiconductors. I bought Micron. You bought Micron thanks to my call. And, you know, that went up 10x. I said, whoa. I already liked Micron before you even started working here. And you're like, and you're like, I'm not counting Micron. What else you got? And then he's like, well, we did this Home Depot. And he's like, Druck told me to buy Home Depot. That wasn't, you weren't Home Depot. Intel? You weren't Intel. Druck told me to buy Intel. What else? And he's like going through, he's not even listening. He's like, AMD, man, we lost like $6 million on AMD this year. What the fuck? And you're like, I told you to sell it. And I'm like, that's not what I remember, bro. You were bullish on AMD. Man, this is so tough. I see I made a lot of money in semiconductors, but how you're lucky to even have a job here. Like you went in thinking you're going to get a $10 million bonus. And he's like, I'm giving you $100,000, shape up your act. And next year, we're not even having this conversation. And it's just always this like back and forth of like, the PM always remembers like the dumb trade you make or the trade, like even the funny ones are like, you're like, man, I really think we should short, you know, like a stock, AMAT. And the firm never actually even shorts it, right? But it goes up. And he's like, man, if we shorted AMAT, we would have gotten killed. And he's like, it's like, bro, what am I going to do? So it's like very like, you got to be super careful with the words you say. That's why I like the port. Now, the port has another problem. You give an analyst a portfolio, all of a sudden they think they're a PM. And you want the analyst to express their trades, to express their ideas of like, I'm bullish or I'm bearish using the port. But if they start trading the port, usually it's a very small portfolio. They start trading the port, it's good, you know, you want them to make money, but it's also like, look, the point of this isn't so that you can make me $5,000. The point of this is so that you give me a trade where I can make $500,000, you know, and that you know this company inside and out so that when it's time to really swing the bat, like at the top of today's trading, you'd say, there's nothing new here. This is totally expected. It's going to completely reverse. And you have full confidence. I'm like, boom.
Yeah.
I put the whole capital into it. But, you know, to get that.
Let me see what the peak was. Probably, I think like 70.
To point
70.
Point is you have to get that conviction from somewhere. You can't just
5 years.
Yeah. You can't just boldly get the conviction. I got to do stock call. I'll see you guys later this afternoon.